Unfolding events surrounding the emirship tussle in Kano State are triggering reactions in Nigeria and beyond. However, critics and political commentators are worried that litigations have taken over the attention of Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf from governance. But this will no doubt be a big disadvantage to the citizens of Kano State. The governor's first year in office was inundated with court cases, including the Election Petition Tribunal and the controversial trials on shop demolitions, among others. Yet, the court cases are not over, even as government enters its second year in office. Governance or court litigations? Well, this is the big question on the lips of many indigenes of Kano State and indeed millions of Nigerians. And you can join this conversation tonight on Daily Politics to lend your voice to the conversation through a dedicated phone number that will be displayed on your screen as the program unfolds. I'm Hamza Idris. Good evening and thank you for joining us. For better analysis and interpretation of the issues on the show, we are hosting Iliyasu Gadu, a public affairs analyst, and thank you very much for coming.
Good evening, Hamza. I'm glad to be here tonight with you.
Yes, when last did you visit Kano?
Well, Kano is actually a place I know very well. I've worked there, I've lived there, I've schooled there, and I have relations there. So I think I've been there. The last time I've been to Kano was just 2 months ago.
All right, good. Well, before the conversation proper, here are some tidbits. The federal government has unveiled plans to boost Nigeria's anti-banditry operations with the acquisition of 50 new aircraft, which will arrive between now and next year. The move aims to strengthen security efforts in the northwest region and across Nigeria. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Bala Abubakar, disclosed that the air fleet will include 12 AH-1 attack helicopters, 24 M helicopters, and 12 Augusta Westland 109 helicopters, and 2 CASA 295 medium airlift aircraft. And elsewhere in Abuja, the Police Service Commission have raised an alarm that the Police High Command is intimidating the agency over the ongoing issues regarding the recruitment of police constables. Specifically, the Commission alleged that the force has been showing brute force and has hired many writers as well as commentators to run down the Police Service Commission. It added that the force was created to enforce the law and not to circumvent in whatever guise. The spokesperson of the Police Service Commission, Ikechukwu Ani, stated this in a statement sent to Daily Trust, alleging that the Commission was aware that all the distractions were calculated attempts by the police to hold on by all means to the recruitment of police constables despite the Supreme Court order. And finally, the 15th and 16th emirs of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero and Muhammadu Sanusi II, held court sittings in their separate palaces on Friday, despite court ruling. It will be recalled that the Federal High Court, presided over by Justice Abdullahi Muhammad Liman, had declared the actions taken by Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of May 23, 2024 as null and void. But the appointed emirs observed Friday congregation prayers at the Central Mosque and Nasarawa Mini Palace, respectively. Meanwhile, the Kano State Police Commissioner, AIG Hussein Gumel, has given reasons why the police ignored Governor Yusuf's directive on the eviction of the deposed Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero. Speaking in a telephone interview with the National Daily on Friday, the police commissioner said obeying the governor's eviction order will be tantamount to jumping the gun. I will take a short break now. When we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. Mala Iliyasu, once again, welcome to our studio.
Yeah, thank you very much.
50 aircraft by the Air Force. And we learned that the Army also procured 2 because they have air component of the Nigerian Army. What is your take on this?
Well, I believe it's in continuation of the fight against insecurity. And in that respect, the air component of the fight is very critical because it will deny, or the army or the security forces hope to deny the insurgents the ability to hide in areas where they may not be seen, and they may not, areas that are inaccessible. So if they're inaccessible by road, they will not be inaccessible by air. And of course, it will also be possible in that manner to carry the fight to them, because the air component is very, very important. It will help in smoking them out where they're hiding, and it will also help in, taking the fight right up to them where they are. If you deploy, if you continue to deploy land platforms, they may not be able to, they may run away, they may escape, make good their escape, because then they are hidden well, they are well hidden, and the land platforms may not be able to get them to them in time, giving them the element, giving them the element of ability to maneuver and to even escape and to fight well against the land forces. But by air, the stakes have become stacked against them, because then when you carry the fight to them by air, you are able to get them where they are, smoke them where they are, and to be able to make the fight effect. So I can see the reason behind it.
But I saw many comments especially on social media, people asking whether it is really good enough to keep using the kinetic approach. Military, they should have this, but when you look at the non-kinetic approach, is very minimal, and it is believed that maybe some of this are basically because of the contract. You can get easy money with all the procurement and all that.
Yeah, but I believe, and many people also believe, that the kinetic element would help. Apart from taking the fight to the insurgents, it will help to bring them to the table, because once they remain intransigent, knowing that they have advantage over the land forces in terms of deployment, in terms of escape, in terms of guerrilla tactics, knowing that they cannot deploy those tactics because they can be seen from the air, yes, they can be targeted from the air, then they will know that, look, the fight is up, and they will go down and sit down for discussions. The discussions are open, but the discussions has to be done in the atmosphere of advantage to the Nigerian state. And that is perhaps why, I'm not in the military, but that's the way I read it, is that perhaps that's why they're taking the fight to them by air. So by air, when ordnances are being dropped on you and where you are, you know that the game is up, and you need to. So they are now
fighting invariably from position of strength. Now exactly. This takes me to our second tidbit. While the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Nigerians believe that there is a kind of cohesion now. It's like there is this interagency rivalry as we witnessed maybe 2-3 years back. But maybe it's like they have passed the baton to the police. Look at it now, the strong worded language by the spokesperson of the Police Service Commission calling out the IG that over recruitment. Is it worth it?
It's not worth it, and it's very unfortunate, because the police is supposed to be the central force that should be at the head of the fight against insurgency. This is basically a police action.
But it's an internal aggression.
Yeah, and the police is well equipped, or is supposed to be equipped to handle this. And one of the reasons behind the recruitment of people, personnel, is because we are not, by virtue of the UN figures, we are not well policed in this country.
Up till now, less than 400,000.
Yeah. And the police we have, apart from the fact that they are not adequate, they are deployed to services that are not intrinsically to help the security and investigative prowess of the police. So you need to have more and more boost the number of the police, so that they can be deployed to those areas where they are needed. But and then the police are supposed to cooperate in this. But it's unfortunate that this has become a recurring decimal, where the Police Service Commission and the police service itself are always at loggerheads. It started right from the time of Mike Okiro to Arase and to the others. All IGs have had problems with the Police Service Commission, especially on this very key issue of recruitment.
But I always ask, why should recruitment of recruits,
yes,
meaning people who just finished secondaries, we have millions of Nigerians, we are complaining we don't have these security operations. Remember in 2018, former President Buhari gave directive that they should do that simultaneously for 6 years. By now, we should have like 60,000. But up to now, they only did the recruitment twice. Now, where should we take the blame? Is it that, I don't know.
No, I think the authorities, in this case the government, the federal government, should be able to sit down with the police authorities, with the police service led by the IG, and then the police service commission. And it's, in any case, most of the police service, the bosses of the police service commission come from the police themselves. So it's that there shouldn't be a matter of friction, and there should be a definition of what the police service commission should do and where the police service itself should do what they should do. So there shouldn't be any friction really regarding this. But it's unfortunate. That's why I said the friction is stemming the effort of fighting insecurity, because when you have the number one security outfit not aligning with itself, not getting together with the police service commission to fight to be able to obey or to implement this very important government instruction, then you have a problem there. That is why we have paucity of police personnel in the country, and that is why at the level of policing, at the level of work that the police should do in terms of curbing or working, of fighting the insecurity, the police has come short, and it's not good for this country. Because then, apart from the issues of inter-service rivalry, you have an issue of the police themselves not getting together and to be able to do the needful in terms of recruitment, which is needed, you need more personnel, really. You need to relieve some of these personnel who have been fighting in the front. You need to be able to get new hands, fresh hands, to be able to boost the work of the security
I was discussing
forces.
with somebody, of course, a police officer who rose through the ranks, and he said he might be wrong, but he believes that the act establishing the Police Service Commission has some killings, like having a police officer, somebody who served in the Nigeria Police Force, to head it. You have a former IGP or somebody who reached the position of DIG heading the
Police Service Commission.
I hear you have somebody who was his junior heading the police force. So there is this friction, and I say, okay, what do you think should be the way out? He said, left for him, the president should not allow anybody who served as police to head the Police Service Commission. It should be maybe a retired High Court judge or even a Supreme Court judge to head the Police Service Commission, so that there will be mutual respect, because they are from two. But I
believe the work of the Police Service Commission, as well as the police itself, should not be prisoner to ego. Once you have, I would like to believe that Police Service Commission is set up by law. There's a law that set the Police Service Commission up, as well as also the police itself. So along the line, there must be a delineation of what the Police Service Commission should do and what the police should not do. So it will now, sort of delineate the jobs that to do, and to stop this idea of ego, because the whole thing is all about ego. If the job are strictly delineated and you do not do what you're supposed to do, you'll be cautioned by the authority.
All right. Thank you very much, Mala Iliyasu Gadu. Our main topic today, of course, litigations or governance in Kano, and we'll soon open our line. So I would like to have your take, because the two monarchs, they held parallel Jumu'at prayer of sorts. One at the mini palace in Nasarawa, and then Emir Sanusi at the main palace. Despite a court order, they are all parading themselves as emirs.
Well, Kano has always been at the center of attention in Nigerian politics, Nigerian economy, and a number of things, for a number of reasons. And what Kano is going through now is needless, really, because the law, if the law is impartial, ought to be able to determine how the issue could be resolved. But even the latest judgment itself leaves a lot to be desired. There are a lot of questions regarding whether even the High Court itself is the proper place to get this case, to hear this case, and to pronounce judgment. And even the ruling, there are so many issues riding on it. First of all, the judge from the words of Professor Yadudu and a few legal experts, the judgment itself is confusing. If you look at the ruling, it's confusing in real terms, because on one hand, the judgment, the ruling said all actions taken by the Kano state government prior to, or rather, to that date,
exactly,
have been declared null and void.
Even though the law that the State Assembly promulgated stands. And also, don't forget, the action of appointing Sanusi Lamido Sanusi as Emir, 16th Emir, preceded the action, the ruling of the judge. So, and then don't forget, the case itself is on appeal. So there's a whole... Aside the one at the State High Court.
Aside the one at the State High Court.
Initiated by Emir Sanusi.
Exactly. So there's a lot of confusion about this. Not just even the case itself, but even not just the ruling itself, but even the entire thing surrounding it. And then don't forget too that there's a Supreme Court judgment in the case of the Emir of Muri.
In Taraba State. Your state.
Yeah, my state, where it was clearly stated. The judgment said that matters of chieftaincy stops at the level of the government, of the state government. So it cannot go beyond the state. The state government has the exclusive right to handle that issue, and it should not, by any circumstance, whatever, be changed. But in this case now, we have the matter has now gone beyond the state and into a federal.
Even though Babada Agundi is citing fundamental human rights. We have a report from Kano. Let's have a look at it.
Presiding Judge Justice Abdullahi Liman rules that all actions taken by the Kano state government after the signing of the Emirate Council law by Governor Abba Kabir are a nullity. The presiding judge directed that all appointments made after the bill was signed into law are to be set aside, adding that the initial court order directing that the status quo be maintained still stands.
The court has nullified all steps taken after the order is made, and that those steps were taken in breach of the court order, and that is all. Subsequently, the court has granted civil proceedings. Since the matter is before the Court of Appeal, no court can take any further steps until the Court of Appeal determine the case at the appeal before it on the issue of jurisdiction.
Meanwhile, counsels to the applicant as well as that of the dependent confirmed that the ruling has been in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended.
The second ruling is concerning the application made by the claimant, the plaintiff, I can say, that he wants this court to declare the law legitimately passed by the State House of Assembly, that is Kano State House of Assembly, that is the second respondent, null and void. But this court clearly stated in its ruling that he doesn't have the wherewithal, the jurisdiction, and the power to declare a law that's passed legitimately by the State House of Assembly.
According to the applicant, Aminu Babatan Agundi, who addressed journalists shortly after the ruling, the court has proved that the rule of law and indeed Nigeria's justice system are working. He called on the state government to always abide by the court order to avoid future occurrences.
This success is not only for me or for the Emir, but for the entire people of Kano. I am sure all of you are in Kano, you live in Kano. 80% of Kano people are not happy with what the governor and even the House of Assembly has done.
At the moment, the Kano Emirate repeal law is still standing, but all actions after the law are null and void by order of the Federal High Court. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
That was our reporter Jibril Kano putting a context to the legal tussle in the state. Iliyasu, do you know something? Since morning, trying to sift through, the producers and all that for this program to come up with a topic for this program, because we normally open the line. To our greatest shock, Kano remained the trending story, a traditional institution. Why is it that Nigerians are easily swayed? Because there is hunger in the land, right? People are talking about no food, malnutrition, and all that. But this can remain the toughest story, in the map.
Yeah, well, it's not easy. It's not difficult to know why, because this matter concerns very important personalities. There's a lot of legal implications, political implications, social implications, because this is a matter that is at the very root of Kano history, Kano tradition, Kano culture, and then it's also a lot of legal people are looking to see what will happen. What lessons, legal lessons that will come from this. So far, we have not yet been served. The legal lessons, the real legal lessons have not been served. And what we are looking at is actually what the courts, what the legal lawyers would say, ex parte motion. Because the substantive issue is whether the state government or the state government, that's the executive of Kano State, and the state assembly have a right to act the way they acted, because the appointing authority to the emir or to the emirship or to whatever rests with the Kano State government and the state assembly. Now that has not come to play yet. It's still at the state at the level of ex parte, what lawyers will call ex parte motions, which is something almost of a technicality.
And it was what Justice Liman used to knock the Kano State.
Exactly, and the matter itself has thrown the issue into further confusion.
Do you know that most newsrooms were confused last night? Personally, I received a number of calls from other editors saying, "What do you understand from the?"
Yeah, and even the judge himself, in the first instance, the Kano State government is challenging the judgment by saying that, look, as of the time that the judgment, or rather the ruling that they should stay action on it, they had already taken action on it. So it's and then again, they were not served the decision of the High Court.
Yeah.
They were not served. The government was not served because there was no copy given to them regarding the ruling. So so a lot of confusion really is here.
Really confusion.
And even with the judgment, the judge himself, the trial judge himself now has shifted the onus of making the final judgment or considering the case before him to another.
Yeah, some people claim that it was because he has been elevated to Court of Appeal. But for our case, let me tell you, our editor-in-chief had come to our rescue last night. Because if you check the papers today, some said, okay, court, brought back Emir Bayero. Some said, no, court has removed Emir Sanusi, or court has removed, confirmed the removal of Emir Bayero. It was so confusing. But I think for our case, what we said was that court, leaves contenders in limbo.
Yeah, I think I saw the title, the headline, and I think it's the appropriate headline to use, because at this point in time, the issue has still not yet been decided. The judgment itself has not provided, really, if you look at it. I'm not a lawyer, but the judgment has not provided any light. Where do we go? Because, even at the level of where we are now, the Kano State government can still say, look, yes, we're in appeal, so we will not implement what has been said or what the ruling, because already we have taken the case to appeal. We're even questioning the legality of that judgment, of the judge to even make a ruling on this matter. So we have not seen the end of it yet. So it's really not appropriate to make pronouncement.
And that is why we said let's open the line today so that people will comment. And we deliberately chose this topic, that is it governance or trials, which should take precedence in Kano, because during the Democracy Day celebration, Konkoso himself, he said that the governor could not do much because he was distracted by a lot of
But in that case,
court cases.
in that circumstances, I think the current government of Kano State, and even Konkoso himself should take a lot of blame, because they came in from the way they started. They left a lot of a lot of room for insinuations that they didn't come for governors, but they came for vengeance, which is not what is needed for Kano State. There are quite a lot of issues that have happened in Kano State that needed the new NNPP government to sit down to work in a manner of consensus, not the manner they started by even by destroying property. Even some of the NNPP people really were not happy with that. They're still not happy, and that is why there's a lot of misgivings. Really, there is supposed to be full support for the government, full showing of support for the Kano State government, but a lot of people are not happy with the utterances of I'm saying it proper and plain. Yes. They are not happy with the utterances of Konkoso and the activities of the Kano State because at the end of the day it draws room for unnecessary litigation. They had the support of the people. They were overwhelmingly supported to come to power. When they came to power, they should have done the right things, started on a consensus level, and try to calm down the minds of the people, rather than go on a triumphant mode, and then in a way that heightened the anxiety and provided the room for people to now go on litigation against them.
All right, thank you, Iliyasu Gadu. Viewers, it is now time for you to call and contribute to the topic of the day: governance or litigations, which should take precedency in Kano. And you can call the line that will display it on your screen, but be precise, don't use foul language, go straight to the point and provide solutions to the conundrum in Kano. Over to you as we await your telephone calls. Yes, last night before we went to bed with our newspaper, we got reports that bulldozers have been mobilized, allegedly to go and clear the walls of the Nasarawa mini palace. And I know Nasarawa mini palace, that's where they buried quite a number of monarchs in Kano, because they say they want to repair it. We have a platform in the newsroom. Somebody commented that Kano is as good as Rivers now. Look at the comparison.
No, I think that's what I was saying just moments ago about the precipitate action of the Kano State government when it first came to power till date. Some of these things need a lot of introspection. Now, you don't just, because a judgment went against you, which is just the first stage, go and try to bulldoze the Emir's palace. That is a historical monument. There are lots of things historical about that place that shouldn't be. And in any case, it will now give rise to more litigations, because somebody can go and challenge the action of the government, because it will now look as if, because the government of Kano State is not happy with the judgment, it is now going to take action that will be precipitate, and at the end of the day, raise more issues than it's necessary. So face one fight at once, rather than dissipate your energy along different battlefronts, and then at the end of the day you get weary, because we're talking about governance. Because at the end of the day, this will give rise to litigations, and that's not what Kano needs. I've been to Kano. The last time I went to Kano, I was not happy with what I saw in Kano. Lots of issues to be handled, and this is what is needed. Not brigandage, not more and more insecurity in the state, and a lot of things need to be done. So this is like a red rag to the bull.
All right, thank you very much, Iliyasu. We have our first caller all the way from Adamawa in Numan. Yusuf, welcome to the program.
Oh, it's regarding the issue of this police recruitment.
Okay, that is where your attention went to. Okay, let's hear you.
Yeah, that is where my attention is.
Okay, go ahead.
As a matter of fact, what the police is saying is the truth. Because what made up the list from our state, our station, and local government is fairly. That because none of the list that made up that of women that were able to reach the stage of medical something. So the issue of the IG, I think, is the truth of the matter.
All right, Yusuf, thank you very much for your contribution. All right, you can see Yusuf is worried. His attention is not even about Kano, the traditional institution, because that will not put maybe food on his table. And Numan was one of the towns that were mercilessly attacked by the Boko Haram. And his attention is we should solve the problem so that recruitment in the police.
That is what we're saying. That's why a lot of Nigerians are not happy that the Police Service Commission and the police force led by the IG are at loggerheads, because this is not necessary. The government has come with an idea, with a solution, at least what it needs is as a solution, to recruit more people to fight this thing. And the people who are charged with doing this thing are fighting over who should do it. I mean, they're supposed to. It's baffling, and you can see that somebody from Numan, which at the forefront of the, at the battlefront of the fight against insurgency, is worried because Adama, at the point when the Boko Haram insurgency was raising, was this thing, was a front line.
Was a victim.
Numan was affected. I know Numan very well, and I know that.
Okay, we have another caller from Nasarawa State this time around. He's Shamaki. Actually, Shamaki is one of our regular callers. Shamaki, welcome to the program.
Good evening, Hamza, Idris, and Iliyasu Gadu in the studio.
We're happy to have you. Welcome.
We're happy to have you, Shamaki.
Thank you. Thank you very much. On the issue of Kano Emir's Tosin, it is an embarrassment to Nigerians. As I'm speaking to you, there is confusion even in my local government of Hanga. Because my neighbor was confused, telling me that even Bayero was being sent to Nasara and Nasara. I told him no. I told him that Bayero is sitting in Kano. Now I'm seeing on television that they even attended the prayer, both of them. So this thing is a shame already. Who will people follow to who people will believe? So they should do it one for all. If it is Bayero, it should continue. If it is Sanusi, people should know. But I am suggesting that they should maintain the Bayero, because since already the former governor have given him the mantle of leadership, so that the Kano can have peace and other activities should carry on, because now people are being confused. Normal things is not even going the way it was. So the right thing should be done. Most of them are related. So it's a national disgrace. So this is what I can be able to contribute.
All right, Shamaki. Shamaki, you are very angry today. Okay, sorry. Thank you for your contribution. He shared his opinion, of course.
Yeah, I think
it's a national embarrassment.
It's a national embarrassment. It's also Kano does not need this at this moment, because there are quite a lot of issues that the Kano State government and Kano people should, focus their attention to. There's a lot of regression in development in Kano State. It used to lead the country in a number of ways: education, political activism, during the days of Rimi and the rest of them. Now Kano is it's a war zone, really, so to speak, and when you visit Kano, you get the impression that anything could break up, and then there will be a lot of bloodshed. And it's not what Kano needs. It's the second largest commercial area in Nigeria, and it has a history, a very rich history, dating back to 1,000 years.
It must be protected.
The protection should start from Kanawa themselves.
Okay, we have Kano's neighbor, Umar from Zaria. He called. Let's hear what he will say. Umar, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Trust TV. My contribution is that the issue in Kano, it looks to me, is turning out to be a very critical situation. I think, with all due respect, we'll have a very good progress if the traditional institution will be returned back to the status quo before 1906. The mistake of amalgamation of Nigeria, where the traditional institutions, they are answerable to their founders. If you look at it critically, I quite believe that all the emirs, the kings that we had, there was a time when it was the Sultan of Sokoto who had the full absolute power and the authority to appoint. But the biggest problem where we started to have the issue was when the colonial masters amalgamated Nigeria, and then they begin to transfer powers to governors. You know, we could not even forget the mistakes of what happens during General Sani Abacha when Sultan Dasuki was removed. It became an issue also when Jakolo was deposed, you know, and the coming in of the colonial control, the politicians again into the traditional institution. Honestly, it's adding a lot of problem. So what I'm trying to narrow down at is that if we could make the traditional institution more respectable, you know, from the way we inherited it, you know, so that there will be some level of disengagement from politicians, from governorship control of the traditional institution. You know, there will be some dignity and sanity, because if this appointment of the emir of Kano after the days of Bayero was done at Sokoto, I quite believe there is this type of all the prohibition. You wouldn't be having this type of problem we are having today. Right. And if it should be even reviewed, the politicians, they should stay out of this issue of controlling the traditional appointment and nomination.
All right.
You know, we'll have a lot of respect. This thing cannot happen in the southern part of the country. It's an embarrassment.
All right.
Honestly, holding a whole state because of this type of issue, politics being dropped into our values, you know, it's quite embarrassing.
All right, Omar. Thank you very much. It's like he is talking about revisiting the Constitution.
Well, what I would say about this is, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. The 1975 constitutional, I think there was a constitution amendment or constitutional
reform.
Reform, that's the word. Where, you know, issues of local government were now were removed from, you know, that's the chiefs, the emirs were now brought under the local government. So in effect, a traditional ruler as important, as regal as the Sultan of Sokoto or the Oni of Ife or some very, very highly placed traditional rulers,
Shehu of Borno,
are now nominally and technically under the control or under the control of the local government chairman.
So if they are traveling, they have to seek for
nominally permission. Yes, that's what it's supposed to be.
Their money, the 5% they get is deducted from what gets to the local government.
Exactly.
So they have to now maybe in the closet, they have to now do like this to the local government.
Exactly. From the time that the colonialists took over Nigeria, defeated our potentates, from that time, the bell for the deterrent of the influence of traditional rulers. This is the fact. Started, and we have gotten to a point whereby a traditional institution as important as that of Kano is now in this mess, because this has been happening progressively over the years until we have come to this point now. And much as Malam Umar from Zaria would want us to get back, you need a lot of constitutional amendments, because this
and it is the politicians.
And it's the politicians that will do it. You know, so it's really, really regrettable that a very, very important emir, traditional stool like Kano is being reduced to this ridicule. It's very unfortunate, and we actually will hope that something will be done to stop this, because if it happens in Kano, it could as well happen anywhere. If Kano, as important, as rich as it is with a lot of history and tradition,
it's now not talking about commerce, but about traditional institutions.
Yes. So if it happens in Kano, then it's likely to happen anywhere. And you saw what happened, what has been happening progressively. So at the end of the day, it is the people of Kano themselves going back to their history, because even this dynasty, the Dabo dynasty, started in 1807, before the coming of the colonialists.
Okay, we'll take Aremu, who is calling from Kaduna. Welcome to the program, Aremu.
Aremu?
Yes, hello, welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Aremu. You are welcome.
Yeah, my name is Chief Areu.
Oh, Adamu?
Areu,
okay, you are welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I have been following your discussion very, very, very well.
Thank you.
You see, they say the problem that is not solved in the morning become another problem in the evening. You see, the way Sanusi was removed, it called for action. You see, the way now what we are having in this country is that the state governors, the constitution have given the state governors the power to remove the emir. And when Sanusi was removed, there was no agitation at all. Sanusi voluntarily left the throne, and he was taken to Nasarawa. And by the time you look at what is actually happening, I have my very greatest fear for this country. If this matter is not treated urgently, my brother, it is going to create problems for this country. Let us go back to the days of the 60s. What happened in the Western Nigeria? And today, the president is perhaps watching what is going on in Kano. The president is supposed to intervene in what is actually happening in Kano so that there will be peace. Now they say they are going to demolish where Bayero is. You see, the taxpayers' money also is going. By the time they allow them to destroy that palace in Kano, it is going to turn to another thing. You see, the traditional institutions have been politicized in Nigeria these days. And if care is not taken, it's going to cause a lot of problems.
All right.
Taking into consideration the conflicting judgment of the courts. Today, we are not even having the trust in the judiciary. Look at what happened sometime ago in the National Assembly, when somebody was saying that a lot of them that in the National Assembly came to the National Assembly on the influence of of Bakachua. Came to the National Assembly with the influence of his wife. So today, Nigerians cannot beat their chest to tell the whole world that we have judiciary who can actually give judgment. We have judges who give judgment, but we don't have judges who give justice.
All right, well, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, you have made your points, and we appreciate. Thank you very much. Yes, he also looked very worried. But the question I keep asking is, what do you think Governor of Kano State should do? Because people are looking for shops, people are looking on how taxes will be cut, people are looking for electricity to power their industries and all that. They are closing shops. So what do you think the governor should immediately concentrate on? Because we are in the second part of, his 4 years.
Well, I think it's a difficult question, really, because it's a catch-22 situation for the governor. On one hand, he's looking at the powers, available to him to do what he's supposed to do, and he's satisfied that he has done the right thing. But the emir, the deposed emir, Emir Bayero.
It's like all of us are really confused as to whether, our radio station in the morning interviewed a lawyer, Al-Zubair from Kaduna. He said, as far as he's concerned, there is no emir in Kano. Because it's like a bread. The judge sliced it, he gave a portion to the state assembly, a portion to the governor, a portion to the deposed emir, a portion to Sanusi, a portion to Dan Ogwindi.
Yeah, why it's very difficult really is because really the matter has become politicized. Everybody, all the two parties involved and the people behind them, the state government on one hand and the federal government, are looking at the rich political votes of Kano coming to 2027. And, I would like to conjecture that all this is happening because of 2027.
Yes, the guest we hosted, Baba Yusuf, yesterday, he also alluded to that. But of what benefit is political prominence at the detriment of economic emancipation?
Yeah, our politicians look at politics as an end in itself. And then that's why there's this zero-sum game happening.
So everything's about politics.
It's about politics.
Okay, we have Kenneth from Niger. Welcome to the program, Kenneth.
Good morning. Good evening.
Good evening, Kenneth. How are you?
Fine.
Okay, let's have your take.
The only advice I want to give them is that, I find out that those Sanusi and Bayero, and even the governor, they are related to each other.
Yes, they are.
Which I know that is a family problem. Let them go back home and resolve this problem than to be bringing this shame to the Nigeria. In fact, our governor do whatever they like, all of us know. So even though the court rule like this, they will follow the other way around. So to make things rain in the family, let them go back home and resolve this problem once for all. Truly, when they remove Sanusi, they do not follow any law.
All right.
And all of us are not happy.
All right. Thank you, Kenneth. Yes, a good prescription there.
Yeah, but
they shouldn't be washing their linens.
It's easier said than done, because when it comes to dynastic issues, it's part of the really dynastic issues. Because if you look at history of traditional rulers or kings and queens, you even find father fighting against his brother. I mean, Sanusi and Aminu are first cousins. In fact, Sanusi's first wife is younger sister to Aminu Bayero.
I was appalled. I don't know whether it was not true. I saw a video. The wife, Sanusi's wife, actually celebrated when he was brought back, and she's sister of Ado Bayero.
Yes, it's true.
She was celebrating. So husband is more important than brother.
Exactly, and this is like what I would say. It's like, look, this is the house of Dabo. The current dynasty in Kano is the house of Dabo. They're all, the founder of the current Kano ruling house is Dabo, Ibrahim Dabo, in 1807. And all of them are directly related, direct descendants of Dabo. So they must be able to resolve this issue within them, because at the end of the day now, politicians will always find a way to make sure that they make capital out of this. And even Abba Gida himself is also part of the ruling house in Kano. So this is something that they should be able to solve it, because relying on litigation, relying on politics will not solve the problem. In fact, as it is now, the horse has bolted out of the stable, because to be able to put these things together will be a Herculean task. Because the issue of 2027, it's everybody's looking at 2027, and nobody wants to give way to the other. And that's the reality. Let's face it. Let's not beat about the bush. So the best thing to do is, well, we just hope that something reasonable, there will be more reason will prevail. Otherwise, it is the nunc dimittis, if possible.
And people will continue to solve.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much. I think this is a soundbite from you that they must have a solution to this program. Unfortunately, time no longer on our side. Iliyasu, Gadu, we thank you very much for coming and for putting context to the conversation today.
Thank you very much for having
you again.
Thank you.
And viewers, that's a wrap on today's package. We hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics airing every weekday and our special package on Friday, during which we open the telephone line for you to comment on national issues as we did today. Thank you for being with us. See you next week for more interesting programs on Daily Politics. I'm Hamza Idris. Good night.